joining us today. My name is Kyle B. Thompson. I'm the programming director for the Fort Myers Beach International Film Festival, and this is the short film package for Q&A. We have some awesome filmmakers here that you guys have probably met throughout the festival this past couple of days, and also a few that are going to be joining us today for the first time. So we're super excited. Let's first bring on Julia and Janelle from Intervention. Hello, guys. Welcome back.
Hi. Hello, hello.
And then we got Patrick and Even from Wonderland. Hello, guys. How are you? Uh-oh, we lost one.
Oh, just me right now. Sorry.
No worries. And then we got Daniel, who you guys have met a little bit ago. Hey, Daniel, how are you? Oh, no, I think Daniel might be having some connectivity issues because I think he might be. Oh, no. Okay, so Daniel, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but it looks like your signal might be a little weak and you're frozen. So hopefully we can get him back on momentarily. But first off, guys, congratulations on your films. I loved both of them. Our entire judging team here absolutely loved them. So I want to really talk about sort of like the story. I know Julie and Janelle, did you guys, I believe Linda wrote the story, correct? Am I right about that?
Linda directed it. Linda Palmer directed it, and Dion Van Ruin.
Gotcha.
He is the writer.
Okay, perfect. And then, Patrick, did you guys write this film as well, or?
Yeah. I wrote it.
Awesome. So the first thing I want to ask you a question for you is, what inspired that story? Because it's an absolute beautiful story that takes you on this journey that you don't see coming at the end. So what inspired that, man?
So it was actually kind of a dual thing, like in terms of like the narrative and the, I guess, emotional weight. Everyone who worked on the film and like everyone immediately had like lost someone in like the probably year, I think, leading up to it. Myself personally, my father lost a battle with cancer before that. But like everyone on the crew, it's a tiny crew, and we're a good group of friends, and like everyone had just gone through some personal things, so it was a little bit just about just to make it about a coping. So
grieving a little bit, right? Like just grieving a little bit.
Wow, that's so. Was that something that was like? Did you guys write that story based on just the tragedy that the crew has been experiencing? Is that, or was it like you just happen to find a crew of people who can relate to the story so well? Was that planned or?
I mean, we're like the crew is a tight knit group of friends.
Okay, you just said that. Sorry.
Yeah. So like we all like were kind of going through different things at different times. It was a struggle to like that summer in particular to come up with like let's shoot something, and that's it's just what kind of came out. It was kind of, I think everyone was.
But I think that was part of it, right? There was like a sort of an emotional barrier for each of us in its own way. Over the so like, how do you go out and make an interesting project or make art at that moment, right? That's not what you're sort of thinking about. So this was like a way to sort of break that down a little bit and be like, oh no, we can be creative and we can do lots of different things. So
yeah, man, no, it's absolutely a beautiful film. I mean, the cinematography again was great. I loved how, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you guys aged the man a little bit with the gray hair. I was like, is he aging? I was like, what's going on here? So that was a beautiful touch, guys. So you guys should be really proud. So Janelle and Julie, I know you guys didn't write Intervention, but you guys both play pretty, intense roles. Janelle, you've been nominated for Best Actress. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So from an actor's standpoint, was there any like preparation you guys had to do for those roles, being that there's such a heavy role? Anything you guys had to do preparation wise?
Well, I will say that with Intervention, Julia actually had an idea of wanting to do a film on the opioid crisis. So she kind of got the ball rolling, and then, was working with Linda, and then Deanne wrote the story, and then I came on. So, I think I'll let her speak for herself, but she wanted to write something about this important social issue, also from an artistic lens, because we're both, we both take acting pretty seriously. So we had played mother and daughter before. I love Julia. She's amazing. Oh, wow. Yeah, and Sienna's Choice.
Yeah, Sienna's Choice was a great meeting.
Yeah, it was. And for me, my preparation, I'm trained in method acting. I'm also trained in the Meisner technique. So I don't really use one specific thing, but I use what the role calls for. and I do different things to build up a person in my mind, and then I feel how I believe they're gonna feel as I start doing the moment. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, your performance was absolutely unbelievable. Especially, I think both your films have to do with loss, right, Janelle? You have a film that's losing their mother, and Wonderland obviously losing their father. So, Julia, tell us about kind of your preparation for the film. Anything you did particularly for it, mentally?
Well, I wanted to give up a shout out to Wonderland because I did think this was an interesting block of parent-child and loss and longing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a beautiful thread for so many of these films, and that it's very, very current. Particularly, there's a lot of loss of parents happening now, and that's such a current moment. So I wanted to have a shout out. I think the hardest part, and everything that Janelle said, absolutely, and Janelle's amazing to work with. So there's two parts of the prep. For one, even though I do have times forgetting words, it was still a little bit more of a stretch to try to get to a place of Alzheimer's, to a place of not being able to live another day knowing how much is being lost. That awful awareness of where you are and where you're about to be. And still Alice did that beautifully. And but we wanted this to be also to pinpoint what is happening with the opioid epidemic. So that was one side of the story. But because of that, the opioid epidemic now infiltrates the life of the daughter. And just so you know, working with Janelle, no preparation needed. You just moment to moment. And there is so much there. And it's one of those things with acting is it's a joy ride when you just get on the train and see where it goes. So
Awesome.
I'm so grateful for that. And that to me was really a highlight.
That's fantastic. I do want to bring Daniel back on. It looks like we have some better connection here. Hey, Daniel, how are you?
I'm back on the cell phone, doing better. Hi, everybody.
That's the only downfall about technologies. We have to rely on the internet sometimes, so totally understandable. But Daniel, you missed the question, but we were talking about, right, we have 3 films, and your film, right, includes a little bit of loss in there as well. So, and you also wrote the script and you produced it. So tell us where that story came from, what inspired you to tell that story.
Well, all these films were great, and I am happy to be among them, really. Safe and Happy came from a long-standing interest I've had in telling stories about secrets. I think secrets are really revealing about people. Sometimes in their secrets you find out what really makes them tick, what their true ambitions are, and that sort of thing. So I conjured up a story that kind of begins in medias res, like you're right there in the middle of this situation where this guy is realizing that he may be about to be found out in his secret because his doctor's office.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, hopefully he joined us back. So
Let's be exposed, and look what happened.
I know. It's just that's the downfall about these virtual festivals. Although it's not in person, you have to rely on this internet thing. So let me ask you this: the biggest challenge? Hey, welcome back. I want to know the biggest challenge that you guys had to overcome on these productions, and the answer can't be budget. I feel like that's always like more money is always a good challenge. But what was like the biggest challenge that you guys had to face in getting these short films produced? And I want to start with Daniel, if you don't mind.
Well, I always think getting actor buy-in to the project because they're getting minimum payment, and in my case, shot the entire film in one day. But I tell them the story, and I think I try to create rich enough characters and a strong enough through line of the story that they can see the value in really kind of inhabiting the character, not just playing some person. Yeah. And I found three great actors here in St. Louis who were committed totally to the project and gave it their all. And, I think it shows on the screen. Leave it to other people to decide for themselves. But that they understood and even felt like they knew where the story had gone before, where it was going now, in the future, and in some ways, and this is a little bit of a criticism of the film. It feels like it's in the middle of a film. It's not the beginning. It's not the end. It's not a thing unto itself. It's like a really important pivotal scene in a larger film. And I'm okay with that because I think if you leave people with questions, as long as they're not just incoherent questions, like what the hell was that about?
Yeah.
Asking questions afterwards, you've done your job in a short film. You shouldn't be doing that with a feature film because you should answer more questions than you answer. But I think in a short film, a dramatic short film, the idea is to be provocative. So I feel like we did that in Safe and Happy.
Yeah. What about Wonderland? Or, what were some of the biggest challenges you guys had to overcome with this film?
For us, it was a little bit about like crew size and sort of production management. I think, there was probably maybe 8 of us, 10, no, 6, 7, 6 of us.
Okay.
Shot this film over a weekend, sort of. So it was a lot of moving parts and sort of keeping things together was pretty difficult. And I think making sure that you could give enough attention to the moments that needed attention in that time. That's the crux of all filmmaking, I guess, right? Like, is you want to spend time on stuff and
yeah, absolutely.
Long, right?
Right. How I do have actually a question around your film. The postcard in that site. Did you guys see the site first, or the postcard, or is that actually the same place, or you guys did such a good job to make it look like the same?
Yeah. So Wonderland Park and Greyhound Track is we're in Boston. That's like right north of the city, and it used to be an amusement park, and then it was just a Greyhound racetrack.
Yeah,
and there was also Suffolk Downs was also out there, which was the horse racing facility, and it's all shut down. So it's all kind of like you're seeing a lot of condos get built up, which you actually see from the beach perspective, but the the historic kind of importance of the area in terms of where it gets its name, Wonderland. It was just called Wonderland Park, Wonderland Track. Comes from that it just kind of no longer exists at this point.
But it is the same place. Yeah. So
that's amazing. Yeah, I was wondering, did they fake it? I believe obviously it is. So that's amazing that you guys were able to. How did you guys get that? Was a postcard like a real postcard? Or was that? Wow, that's incredible.
The internet. A great thing.
Yeah.
You can find.
I was thinking maybe you had the postcard first and did the whole story around the postcard.
Well, I mean, the space itself is there's the histories around it. So yeah, it kind of was, and it was once I started writing it, it was, can I find an old postcard or old poster that would make sense for this? And there was, I think, 2 options, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome. So Julia and Janelle, what are some biggest challenges you guys had to overcome with this production?
I think when you need to do something in a short amount of time, and I think every filmmaker is going to say the same thing. We're shooting these in weekends. Janelle flew in from New York, and she's not only doing an extraordinary, and I'll let you talk about this, of course, but such depth of character on different time zone, and then a dressing room is a garage, and just trying to get it all done and digging as deep as possible. And exactly what you said with Wonderland, sometimes you go, can we get to that moment, and we're losing the daylight, and I think that's a big challenge. What would you think, Janelle?
I would say, everything Julia said. She really did a lot of groundwork for the project. What she said is 100%. It just reminded me of the 2 days that we shot, getting everything done, and then being afraid that the day was going to end and we couldn't get to that scene, or especially when it's something as deep as these 2 roles were in the story. Because for me, I always think with my actor mind a lot, so it's always about bringing the most truth, the most organic story out. So when you're compressing that time and trying to race, you always get a little nervous. I hope I pull out the utmost truth and
Yeah.
feel it as strong as I know I have been feeling it. And
You
then,
reminded me of wearing two different hats. What you had to do in Sienna's Choice,
yes,
producer and actor, is what I was doing for the first time with
Yes.
Intervention. Was like, you take the one hat off. Everybody has enough red vines. Okay, you put the hat on and go, I've lost my mind. You know, so
exactly. Sorry, Hershey's, exactly, 100%, Julia. And I'll say, you know, I helped a bit about what, you know, I helped her out with the post-production stuff and film festivals. And for me, kind of right now, so, switching up my time with work and like trying to promote and, you know, being on the circuit. Hershey, sorry. I guess that would be probably one of the more challenging things. And it's fun. It's not necessarily challenging, but it's like finding the time. And then, you know, I always like to attend the film festivals when they were in person that we get accepted to, you know, which is a great time. And you're always trying to hope they all fit in somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I know for
Sorry,
sure.
I lost my
All right, those are all great answers. That's for you guys, and I'll let you guys go. Where can we keep up? Where can we find you guys?
I'll speak. You can find me on Instagram because that's where I do most of my film posts and everything. It's at Janelle Tana, JANEL TANNA, and also Facebook, the same name.
Awesome.
And it's best, I'm mostly on Instagram and Twitter. My Facebook account is literally sketchy at the moment. So Instagram is silverman.julia and Twitter is Julia lowercase Silverman. So that's where you'd find me.
Awesome. Daniel, what do you got?
You can catch me on my website, danielblakesmith.com.
Awesome, cool.
I'm also on Facebook and Twitter, but find out what projects I'm involved with on my website.
Perfect, awesome. And Ethan, Patrick, what do you got?
I'm on Instagram. That's about it for social media.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
Yeah. You can find me through him.
You
By
guys
the way,
are,
it's really nice to meet the other filmmakers. This is really
Very nice.
yeah.
Nice
It
to meet
is.
you guys.
Great show.
Thank you guys so much for taking the time out. I really appreciate it. I wish we could all be meeting in person. You know, obviously with what's going on in the world, it wasn't the best time to do that. But hopefully in 2021 we can get you guys down there and have a good time. It's a blast. But guys, thank you so much for the time. Please stay in touch, and I'm really excited to see what you guys got coming up next. All right.
Thank you so much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Guys, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Fantastic group of people. That was so awesome that we had a chance to see those guys. I loved all their films. They were amazing. So, guys, thank you so much. We still have a day of film festivals left. Some really good films coming up, so don't miss it. We have our awards video tomorrow, so it should be a lot of fun. But until then, guys, see you at the movies.